Someone else is asked, who else is in pajamas from the waist down? Try to keep the comments about what's going on below the waist to a minimum. We know that that was asked in the nicest possible sense, but I'm actually wearing trousers with a zip, which is, you know, I heard someone referring to them as hard trousers. You know, that's like, you know, where we're at the moment. Got someone calling in from Kilburn, someone from Belgium there, Gareth from Brighton. Oh my gosh, this is, it's an amazing reunion. Someone's just written, the sound has gone weirs. I think that might be meaning to be weird, but maybe someone's just hearing the sound of weirs where they are. So there we go. Oh, so lovely to have you. We've got Julia Fernando, Henry Blanchard's wife, but also a woman in her. Henry Blanchard is our speaker today. She's also a woman in her own right, I'm sure. There we go. Lots of hellos there coming in. Oh, gosh, really finding out who's in East Dulwich. Simon Pimenta. Look at this. We should stay in touch and then not hang out in person again. There we go. We've got people from Lewisham and Woolwich and I'm being sort of overly interested in people from Southeast London. Wonderful to have you, Steph. How was it? 5 minutes? We're still going to turn up. We're still going to start late, which otherwise it would be weird and not Sunday Assembly-ish. Though so far the PowerPoint has been rather too smooth. It's a bit disconcerting. There we go. We've got people from Leighton and Brighton. Double Leighton. Yes, please. Someone else is commenting on that they're wearing pajamas. Turns out people do want to share what they're wearing. I did not start that question, FYI. Okay, that's the chat sort of become who's in pajamas, who's not in pajamas. And the virtual assembly is perfect for immunocompromised people. There we go. Hello from Wembley Park. Oh, well, look, that is. Oh, we've gone gallery view. It is on. Hello, look at all these people. So we're going to kick off. So at a Sunday Assembly, we normally kick off with just a bit of applause. So shall we do that, Steph? Yeah. So let's go and see if we can all clap in time. And I'm just going to let you know. No, we've let you know that it's going to be later. But we're going to try to be able to defeat physics here. If everyone can just see a video, just someone clapping, and we'll see if we can do it in time. Ready? Right, eventually.
I have to leave.
It's a mess.
School up in Pony anymore. The guy who leads Sunday Assembly. It's like this normally just chat.
Let's keep on clapping for quite some time.
Sunday Assembly. Okay.
Our first Zoom Sunday Assembly, our first post-pandemic Sunday Assembly, and I think it is Sunday Assembly is often at its most powerful in times of need and in times where, you know, we sort of feel threatened, where something sort of really huge has occurred. And then what we do is we gather together and we go and realize that we're going to be able to get through, the only way we're going to be able to get through anything is by sort of coming together with other people, by uniting. And it's just very strange that we're uniting apart, you know, that we are sort of all over the world, but that's the new reality we've got to live with. And I think there's something really beautiful is happening at the moment, including a phone call from my father, but where we start to really go and concentrate on the things which are most important, and we have to go and do things differently. And out of this crisis, we're having this assembly online with people who've never come before to a Sunday assembly, and people from all over the world. And this wouldn't have happened unless we were experiencing the coronavirus, something which is really almost impossible to contemplate. We've all heard the word unprecedented used an unprecedented amount. I'm sure everyone in this call will have some experience of someone who's been, either died, or a doctor, or someone in healthcare, or someone who's been, that it's coming ever closer. So we really hope that this is a place where we can go and get some sort of succor, some sort of support from each other. And it's going to be a bit different. We're going to probably have to, try to get you involved, doing some activities in your home so that we start to feel connected. And with that, I'm going to say thank you all so much for coming today. I'm going to ask you to go and give a big round of applause again before our song. So are we ready to do this Sunday Assembly? Woo! Wherever you are. Woo! Yeah, that is great. And so now we're going to go to the song. Steph, who are we passing over to for the song? There we go. Thank you so much for that. Guys, give a round of applause for the band, and also for everyone you saw getting involved there. It is wonderful to see people wigging out in different parts of the world on various different backgrounds. Sorry, I'm just going to get the order of service. I normally have it printed off in front of me, and I suddenly wanted to make sure that I was saying the right thing at the right time. So so welcome to Sunday Assembly. For people who haven't been before, well, firstly, it's not normally like this. We go and meet up together in a physical place. Imagine that. And it's a community where what we do is we've adapted sort of the different elements, which are often done by congregations, and done that in a way that, everyone can come. So instead of hymns, we sing pop songs. Instead of there being a sermon, we invite an sort of inspirational speaker, and instead of prayer, we contemplate together. But around that, there's all the different elements of a community. And so we're delighted to have you here at a sort of an online version of this. And that's why we've been able to have people from all over the world. And each Sunday Assembly has got a theme, and the theme for this one is global goals. And obviously, as with everything, we've slightly changed the emphasis of it. We've got a fantastic speaker who's dedicated his life to sort of like going and helping other people, and to go and help other people, not only in the work that he does, but also to help people go and do the work, which is most aligned with sort of their own purpose and in doing good. So Henry is going to be talking about that, his story, but with a sort of an added viewpoint to, okay, what does it mean to do that in this time? Because for me, certainly, there's something about now where you go and see so many people focusing on doing good, so many people focusing on helping others. There's this huge mutual aid movement which has popped up all over the world. I don't know if you've seen it, people just going into Facebook groups and finding out who can be helped. We're standing outside and we're giving rounds of applause for the carers. We're really thinking and realizing that the people who are often sort of labeled unskilled in all these economic discussions are actually the folk who are holding our countries together. And the question is this going to be something we're able to concentrate on? There's this one image in my head at the moment, which is like, are we at the moment building temporary structures, sort of emergency shelters for a disaster that we're going through? Or actually, can the practices that we learn, can these new thoughts and new feelings that we're having can they instead be foundations that we can build on? So we're going to explore that in a whole host of different ways. We've got poems going to be read out. You guys are going to go and discuss with each other. And we hope that, if nothing else, we're just able to go and get that feeling of togetherness, which is so vital when we're apart. So I'm now going to move on to our first speaker, which, Steph, shoot me in the face if I'm wrong. And that's Annie Perez, who is going to be reading out a poem. Am I right? Yeah, there we go. Lovely stuff. I was right. So, guys, please give a welcome from your bedrooms or wherever you are, whether you're in pajamas or not, to Annie Perez, who's going to be reading a poem for us. Go, 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 go.
Hi, guys. Sorry about my voice. I had a virtual birthday party of a friend last night. Bit of a late one. New experience, karaoke. I came across this poem actually when I was on a retreat, and I had no idea what was going on, no idea about lockdown, no idea at all. And this poem really struck a bell when I kind of came out of that experience and I experienced what lockdown actually meant, looked like, felt like, and I thought it was beautiful. So it's called Lockdown by Brother Richard. You may have already heard of it. Yes, there is fear. Yes, there is isolation. Yes, there is panic buying. Yes, there is sickness. Yes, there is even death. But they say that in Wuhan, after so many years of noise, you can hear the birds again. They say that after just a few weeks of quiet, the sky is no longer thick with fumes, but blue and grey and clear. They say that in the streets of Assisi, people are singing to each other across the empty squares, keeping their windows open so that so those who are alone may hear the sounds of family around them. They say that a hotel in the west of Ireland is offering free meals in delivery to the housebound. Today, a young woman I know is busy spreading flyers with her number through the neighbourhood so that the elders may have someone to call on. Today, churches, synagogues, mosques and temples are preparing to welcome and shelter the homeless, the sick and the weary. All over the world, people are slowing down and reflecting. All over the world, people are looking at their neighbours in a new way. All over the world, people are waking up to a new reality, to how big we really are, to how little control we really have, to what really matters, to love. So we pray and we remember that yes, there is fear, but there does not have to be hate. Yes, there is isolation, but there does not have to be loneliness. Yes, there is panic buying, but there does not have to be meanness. Yes, there is sickness, but there does not have to be the disease of the soul. Yes, there is even death, but there can always be a rebirth of love. Wake to the choices you make as to how to live now. Today, breathe, listen. Behind the factory noises of your panic, the birds are singing again. The sky is clearing, spring is coming, and we are always encompassed by love. Open the windows of your soul, and though you may not be able to touch across the empty square, sing. Thank you very much, guys.
Hey, let's give a round of applause for Annie there. And I'm going to ask you all to genuinely clap your hands, because it's often when we do physical activities that we start to go and get that feeling of connection. When we share these emotional journeys together, you know, that's what so much the power of ritual is, that we're all sharing this thing together. And it's why when you go and, let's say you're a big Game of Thrones fan, you know, after the Red Wedding or some other shockingly bad episode at the end, you'd want to go and speak to someone and you'd feel that connection. It's that connection you feel when you both saw a goal being scored in the last minute. And so, and by getting our bodies in as well, we're able to go and have that feeling of connection, which is a physical feeling, which we don't have when we're sort of apart from each other. So Annie, thanks so much there. That was really beautiful. And yeah, it's still for me getting to this thing of like, how on earth can we make sure that, you know, this mutual aid, this pause, this reflection, this care. You know, we're not doing it just because right now we need to, and when the world starts back up, we go and switch into another mode, but it is something that we really go and use to make a big difference in not only our own lives, but the world around us. So that poem was utterly perfect. Thank you so much, Annie. And I'm just going to go and check that we now have a song. So everyone get to your feet, sort of physically or just sort of whilst you're still sitting down. And we're going to go and have a song. Let's do this. Guys, give a big round of applause for the wonderful Macklemore and Jessie Glynn. I cannot believe we were able to book them. What a get. Really phenomenal on our part at this very busy time. They recorded that video especially for us. Really touching move. And you've also noticed, if you're regular in a Sunday assembly, that often when we're doing songs, there'll be some small rap moment or spoken word element that we might go and just take out because you just know the chorus and everything else. But luckily, due to them recording that message specially for us, we decided not to take it out. And really got into some pretty emotional stuff about moving to Brooklyn, studying art. Also, one weird thing about that, I'd never really listened to that part before, but Macklemore said, I thought you'd take my last name. Number one, a little bit #problematic. Yeah. And also number two, he famously doesn't have a last name. He's got one name. Well, what last name was he going to take? I don't know. Was he just going to be called Macklemore? Very strange. I think we need a steward's inquiry to discover what's really going on in that song. So, guys, thank you very, very much for giving your all there. For people, everyone will know who's been before, but if you haven't, that Sunday Assembly is not just a gathering, it is a whole community, and we do so many things around it. Luckily, it's never going to be easier for you to take part because we're now doing so much online. So I'm going to ask you to give a big round of applause to Ange, who is going to do our notices. So give a round of applause there. There we go.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I think it's fair to say I haven't been sparkly all week, but it's Sunday. It's Sunday Assembly, so here is the sparkle. So, as Sanderson says, there's lots of things going on online. We know that you're all really busy with all of those things. So what we've done is to collate some of the stuff that's being done with the community and community members are running. And we've popped it all onto a lovely calendar of joy on the website. So I'm just going to show you our wonderful website. Bear with me while I get to that. This is Zoom. This is the website. So we have all kinds of things going on. So we have our lovely assembly here. Our website is sundayassembly.com. Really easy to remember. So if you get there, you can see all of the things that are going on during the day. And if you just hover over them, it'll give you a little bit of information about those things. So let's have a look at Monday. So tomorrow we've got meditation going on at 9 a.m. We've got Sanderson and Livefulness Live, and with special guests and a sing-along there, which is happening every day. Laughter yoga at 6 as well, and then choir. So we're still doing online choir rehearsals, so do come along and join in those. It's interesting. I went to choir for the first time. It took all this to happen for me to join choir, but lots and lots of fun there. So, okay, so all the way through, we've got poetry, we've got going on there a couple of times a week. We've got dance parties with Ian, a slower one on a Wednesday, and then the really full-on dance party, a party in your very own kitchen or living room or wherever you are on Saturday night. So if you've got any things that you want to add to the calendar, drop us a message either on the Facebook group or by emailing Stephanie@sundayassembly.com, and we'll get them all popped onto the website for you. That's great. So if you look at any of these, so let's go to here. So we want to go to choir tomorrow night. If you're going to join us, Click on there and it's going to take you straight into the invite, the page where all the information is and how you can join on it there. Mine's in Portuguese, yours is probably in a different language. So, okay. So, as I say, there's lots of things going on. Dip in and out as you choose, and let us know what you think. And also, if you've got any other ideas for things that can be going on and supportive within the community during this time, set them up, tell us about them. Okay, thanks everyone, bye.
Guys, give it up for the wonderful Anne. There we go. And I really am going to encourage you to clap, genuinely clap when you are at home, because that goes and gets our bodies into it a bit more. And Shatip, I'm going to just maybe ask everyone to do that now before our speaker. Feel a bit bad. I've got just going to ask us to just go and stretch a bit. So maybe just begin by rolling your shoulders forward. There we go. That's it. Oh, we've probably spent a lot of time in the house. I bloody hope you have. And then maybe stretch them back. Oh, really get into it. Make a sound if you want. And then go and stretch up to the sky. Tickle the clouds. Give the clouds a good tickle. Oh, that's nice. That's it. They love that. Then go and lean to the left or lean that direction. Oh, yeah, there we go. And then lean back to the right. And this is one that you can just do whilst you're sitting down. Just have a bit of a hop. Just go and get your bodies nice and warmed up. There we go. It's almost as though we're in a room together. We're all hopping together at the same time, but maybe not in time. That's fine. There we go. And now we are going to welcome our main speaker. It is the speaker who has had the easiest commute ever for a Sunday assembly, but he's also he's made time in a pandemic in order to go and speak to us. And the theme is global goals, and he's going to go and talk about his work that he's done. God, it's so annoying. I've got this new camera, which I've got the ability to focus it, but then I'm constantly out of focus. I shouldn't have maybe gone into that just as I was introducing Henry. But there we have it. I'll start again. But he's done amazing work. He goes and advises startups. He's also started this incredible charity marathon in Uganda. So I'm going to now ask everyone to please put your hands together for Henry Blanchard.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Sanderson. You look very in focus to me, and likewise, I will give you back my focus. Morning, everyone. I am in 15 minutes going to tell you half of a story, and then if you're very good, I will tell you the other half if we have time. So here's half a story. Do I look like a superhero to you? And for once, I'm actually quite glad that everyone else is muted so they can't chime in with a chorus of no's. But do I look like a superhero to you? Now, what do superheroes have in common? All superheroes have an origin story, normally quite a sad or humbling origin story. So I will share my origin story with you. And bear in mind that this is half a story. So when I was growing up, I was a bit of a budget Ed Sheeran, ginger hair, glasses. I was really into maths. I was really into chess as well. So you can imagine I was quite popular with lots of people, got invited to all the parties. And then as I got a little bit older, as I finished university, I went and joined one of the big four accountancy firms to become an accountant. So you can imagine that my coolness went through the roof, and really I was just getting invited to more and more parties and people wanted to hang out with me. Now that's the humble origin story. Obviously being super cool and super into maths and chess and wearing glasses, I obviously never got bullied as a youngster. So never kind of took that into my life as a grown up. But what I was interested in was helping people, because I thought it sucked that some people were in situations where they couldn't make the most of themselves, or they felt sad, or they felt oppressed, or they just weren't happy. And I thought that was awful. And what I could see around the world, was made me think of my childhood and my growing up and how difficult it was for me. And I noticed when I was working in London for one of the big four accountancy firms, accountant, super cool, that we always used to do fundraisers. And people were always saying, oh, I'm going to run a marathon for this, or I'm going to do a jog for this, or a swim for this. Can you sponsor me? And it was very much, the relationship was just, okay, great, yeah, I'll sponsor you because you're my friend, get out my credit card or debit card, put £10 on Just Giving, and that would be the end of it. And kind of never really engage with the cause, where that money was going to go, what it would do, who it would help, what lives it would touch. And I thought there was so much opportunity there. There was so much opportunity to connect people with their giving, to connect people with the good that they were doing in the world. So instead of the relationship ending the time you put your debit card back in your wallet and carry on with your day, that could be just the beginning of connecting people to causes that maybe they didn't know about or maybe hadn't heard about before. So I had some friends in Uganda, and between us, we sort of came up with this idea of, oh, well, let's do some fundraising for the projects that my Ugandan friends ran. So one in particular, Moses, was building a school, this amazing community school on the side of a hill. And I was like, wouldn't it be so cool if we could not just get people to fundraise for this, but somehow like connect to it and stay in touch and see how the school develops and grows. And what we really wanted was people to come over to Uganda and see that. Now, for most people, Uganda isn't naturally high on their list of weekend getaways. We knew we'd need more of a hook than, you donated £10, so come out to Uganda and see what that's done. We needed a hook to get them on a plane and get them out to Uganda to see it. So we created a marathon, and not just a marathon, but a week-long experience where people could come to Uganda, immerse themselves in the amazing community there, see the effect and the impact their fundraising had, meet the very people it would be supporting. So come over, spend a week like with a school, and we could say, hey, you see this desk? Your fundraising paid for this desk. And see this teacher, your fundraising has supported their salary, and now they're able to teach their community and pay that forward. And how amazing would that be? So this is what we did. Back in 2015, it became apparent that I couldn't juggle starting a marathon in Uganda with working as an accountant in London. So I quit my job. I gave away most of my possessions, put one bag on my back, and moved to Uganda and started the Uganda Marathon. And through a series of kind of lots of hard work and lots of really, really being passionate about what we're trying to do, 5 years on, the Uganda Marathon has raised nearly £1 million for communities across Uganda. It's one of the largest races in Africa. Red Bull have called us one of the 9 best marathons in the world. Next year, we're going to have 8,000 people to take part. And, the good that has come out of this has been incredible. Schools have been built, thousands of children have been put through education, doctors have been funded, neonatal units have been built, all this amazing change that wouldn't have happened without the marathon. And if this was 2 or 3 years ago, that's where the story would end. And we'd all give ourselves a pat on the back and say, fantastic. But I don't know if you noticed something there. But that story was about me. I did this. Think about my origin story. Look at me putting on my superhero cape and trying to save the day. What I didn't talk about was how one person can't do anything alone, and how actually I'm one of the smallest pieces of this amazing award-winning, organization that's raised nearly £1 million. Now, it's not about me. It's not about the superhero. There's an amazing team who've given up so much more than me to be a part of it. There's a full-time team of passionate Ugandans who are so invested in their own community and supporting themselves and paying that forward. There's so much more to this than my story. And I think a little bit of this ties in with a lot of what you hear about volunteering and volunteerism these days. We sort of feel like we can go overseas and help change the world. Well, actually, the people that really know what the need is are people there living in that context already. Like, who am I to tell a group of Ugandan social workers or doctors what's really needed? Like, to come over and be like, why don't I dig you a well? It's ridiculous. I'm not the expert. They are. People in Uganda know their own communities. They know their own problems. They know what the solutions are. They just occasionally need a little bit of money to help fundraise to make that happen for them. So 2 or 3 years ago, I was coming to this realization, and I realized that it's not about me. It's not about us. It's about the people in their context. So in the same way as you wouldn't ask an 18-year-old Ugandan to fly over to the UK and start painting a hospital or teaching English in a primary school, we're not best placed to go and do the same in Uganda. What we can do is offer our support and our help and our encouragement and our money. But what we have now stepped out of the way to do is let these experts, these incredible Ugandan leaders, take things into their own hands. So what we're now doing is we're handing over the marathon. We have a Ugandan board of trustees. We've trained up a Ugandan team. And now myself and all the other people who aren't Ugandan born and bred are leaving. We're walking away from this and we're giving this back to the people of Uganda because it's theirs and it's their future and it's now in their hands. And that's something we've been incredibly passionate about. So I'd like to kind of touch on, again, this idea of superheroes, because if you look at superhero films, there's always a sequel because the job's never done as a superhero. You create a dependency. If you put it all on yourself to save the world, like, there's always a sequel. There's always another villain to conquer. But actually, what we're all about is putting the trust in the people of Uganda to do things themselves. Again, another thing about superheroes, it's all big, it's all sexy, it's all like origin stories and here's what I did next. You know, how useful would Batman be in helping a vulnerable person fill in their universal credit application? How useful is Superman in sitting with an elderly person in the last days of their life and just being there to listen to them? Like, superheroes aren't that useful. But what is useful is people like us. People like the people in Uganda, people like the 290 people on this call, because we're all in it together. There's a fantastic quote, I believe, from an American called Mr. Rogers, which says, always look for the helpers. Whenever anything bad happens, always look for the helpers. We're so quick to focus on something bad has happened. The news is full of it. And yet, no matter where anything bad happens, there's always people who rush in to help. 11 lunatics flew some planes into a building 20 years ago, and the entire world united. Thousands of first responders rushed into those buildings, even as they were falling down, to save people. One tiny virus has come to this country, and more than 1 million people have rushed to register to support and help the NHS as volunteers. One car accident tragically happens. Hundreds of people stop to phone the police, to offer first aid. Like, there are always more helpers. There are always more people willing to do good than people who are willing to do bad. So always look for the helpers, because we are all helpers. People are so good. We're so good. And that is one of the reasons why we're just pushing to give back our event to the community, because we completely trust that people can manage themselves. People know their own destiny best. So we came up with a few rules in sort of coordination and partnership with community organizations in Uganda that we're now trying to spread the word around to the rest of the world. For anyone that wants to help, first, listen more than you speak. Listen, because people know what help they need. The people you're trying to help know what they need, so listen more than you speak. Learn before you act. Don't rush in trying to save the day, because there will be amazing solutions out there that these people will know about. And partner and follow as much as you try to lead. There's nothing wrong with leading, but do it for the right reasons. Don't do it because you want to be a superhero, because you want to be that Batman or Superman. Do it because you want to help. And don't be afraid of following, and don't be afraid of partnering. So for us, the Uganda Marathon has been postponed this year to next year because of the current situation. And again, one of the amazing things that happened is these people from all around the world were coming to Uganda. They booked holiday, they booked flights, they'd paid for hotel accommodation. And every single one of them said, that's okay. That's okay that it's postponed. That's okay that, you know, we're going to lose money on our flights and maybe even our accommodation. We don't mind because we're in it to help. We're part of the community. And just that spirit has kind of really pushed us forward. So we feel incredibly lucky to work with so many amazing people, both in Uganda and around the world. And we're just so passionate about giving and just giving until it hurts. Just give until you can't give anymore. Give your time, give your money, because money is really a byproduct of the time you've invested already. Give your heart, give your soul, give your love, give your light, give everything you can, because giving is what makes everything worthwhile. Give for others, don't give for yourself. Give for the world. So I'd like to leave you with this. And I hope you can all see some people on your screen. If you're not in gallery mode, put yourself in gallery mode now. And what I'd like you to do is understand that giving is an act of love. It's an act of selflessness, and it's an act of wanting the best for other people. So what I'd like you to do is focus on a face you can see on your screen that isn't your own. Make eye contact with that person. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but they can't see you, I promise. So really stare into that person's eyes and feel like you're reaching out across this. It's an almost infinite void between us. And at the same time, there's no space at all between us. We're all in this massive, amazing shared experience together. And yet times may be difficult and challenging right now. So what I want you to do is make eye contact with this person. And for 15 seconds, just look into their eyes and just selflessly wish the very best for them. Wish that their life is going to be amazing and rich and full. Wish that they too can go out and help other people and dispassionately, unselfishly give so much of themselves to the world. So for 15 seconds now, just look at that person and just wish the absolute best for their whole lives. Give them your everything. Okay. Thank you very much for having me. I hope that we can all go and do some good today and for the rest of our lives. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Henry. That was wonderful, and so much to think about. There's this. I can remember at the start of looking around. Gosh, I forgot slightly different situation. So I just swore at Sunday Assembly for the first time in years and years. So there we go. How about that? Just kind of really trying to get myself in focus again. This is taking it slightly out of the moment, particularly when I've just heard someone talk about don't make it about you, but at the same time, it was too blurry. And that there's something, I read this book by he's a Christian minister, but he described church as it is congregations for, there's people who need parties thrown for them, and there's people who want to throw parties. And for a while, that's really what I thought, that is, you've got some people who've got this spare capacity, this desire to give back and to connect. And it's actually over the course of Sunday Assembly that, we all have the capacity, we all want to throw parties for people, and sometimes we all need parties thrown for us. And what's wonderful about community is the fact that when it's done right, that there isn't this idea of that is the person over there, they help, and then these are the people that we go and help. That there's this sort of it can end up being quite a toxic beneficiary and provider relationship, a hero and a victim. And I just really love the message that you had there, that we all need to help. We've all got this gift with us, is what we can do, but it shouldn't be from a place of knowing best. And I just really hope that we can go and take that not only into our Sunday Assembly community, but also out into the world. So guys, give Henry another round of applause there. That was wonderful. Now, Steph, we are going to go and move into small groups, but I was wondering whether we had a fixed question already decided for the groups. If not, I can go and conjure one up. Steph is being mysterious.
You can come up with something if you would like.
Okay, easy peasy. And so what's going to happen now is we're going to go into small groups. We're going to have different moderators from Sunday Assembly within those groups. Obviously, we're not going to be able to have a moderator inside every single group. So what that's going to mean is that we're going to just have to make sure that people are very respectful when you hear someone else talking, that we go and make sure that we listen more than we express our opinion, that when someone else is talking, we just don't feel the need to interrupt them. And then also, one of the problems which can happen in these spaces, and so far everyone has been everyone has been fine, is occasionally you might find someone who wants to troll and do the sort of behavior which, if we were gathered together in the community, someone could walk in from the street and start swearing, and then we'd ask them to leave. And that sometimes happens in online spaces as well. So if you were to get someone who started to act in a way that was designed to harm and malicious, just go and raise your hand. And then what we can do is we could, just as we would in a real world space, ask them to leave. So that's the sort of things that we want to go and make sure that we, the behaviors that we show in this space. And now really taking from that sort of question which sort of Henry sort of brought up on this idea of that we were reflecting on at the end of that, is that, what are, from this crisis, from this unique human experience that we're all going through, what are some of the hopes you have for what change can come out of it? So that's going to be the question that we're all going to be discussing in groups, is what are some hopes that you have for what good can come from this crisis that we're going through at the moment? So Steph, are you going to go and hit the breakout button and go and put people into groups?
Hi, hello, Sharon.
All right,
here.
so you guys were supposed to be assigned to a smaller group. I'm not sure what happened, but that's fine. Nice to see you guys here.
Hey, Steph, I can't believe it. Hello, it's Sharon.
Hi. Oh my gosh, Sharon. How's it going in India?
Hello.
So glad you could make it.
Hi there, everyone, and welcome back. I jumped in there with a rapid mute all because we were going to get pretty cacophonous pretty quickly. I want to say thanks to everyone who was in my group. It was wonderful to go and share, and suddenly found myself speaking to someone on a boat, and then someone else with a little puppy, and someone else with no video because they just got up, and that's all good. One of the advantages of this, you can go to Sunday Assembly in a sort of state of undress, so thanks so much. We are sort of getting towards to wrap it up. I'm just wondering if anyone would like to put down some of their, this would be nice, like just in the little chat, what are some of your hopes for the future? Because then we'll have a little record of all these different things that people wanted. So if people could just spend a little moment just to write down what their hopes for the future are. Keep them clean. because yeah, there'll be some people who've been lonely for a bit. So there we go. And I'm going to go and add mine there, and I'm going to say, oh my gosh, it's a by the way, this is an absolutely beautiful thing. This is like the best Twitter in the world. Oh, look at that. We can home the homeless during the epidemic. Oh yeah, turns out that was relatively easy to solve, admittedly. Oh, there we go. So, the classic caps lock, end of capitalism. Nice. I didn't say I could. There's an emoji I don't get on my laptop, so that's just hand clap and then questionable emoji. Good relationship with sun continues. Less pollution. Close community. I like that. The end of capitalism. I got in touch with someone. Just going to go and read out a message because I was reaching out to some folk to go and find out what whether there were any networks which are sort of coming together to discuss these issues and you know, like how on earth could we go and make this permanent and all of this stuff. And the person got back to me. I got in touch saying, just reaching out, as I was wondering if who's doing post-pandemic organizing, what sort of initiatives do you know about? And then their response started, hi Sanderson, good to hear from you. If you're asking about some sort of uprising, then no, I don't know anyone who's working on one. And I was like, wow, what a great thing that someone would receive a message from me and ask if I'm organizing an armed insurrection. I felt very sort of revolutionary, which is not my normal vibe. And so, yeah, we are just drawing to a close now. And what we have at Sunday Assemblies, we always have someone from the community who comes and shares their story and what they're doing. And so it's called Trying My Best. And today, the person we have who is trying their best is Sarah Moore. So I'm going to ask everyone to go and give a big round of applause to Sarah Moore. There we go. I'm just going to see if we can do this. I'm going to unmute everyone briefly, and then we're going to see if we can give a round of applause for Sarah Moore. So,
Spitfire. You're Marine Spitfire. Let's find out. The nominee became Greek culture minister.
Sarah, that would be fantastic. Well, Sarah can unmute herself.
I can. Hello. Thanks, Sanderson. So I just want to ask you, imagine waking up one day to find your whole world had changed. That's right. I don't think I need to ask you all that because you don't need to imagine anymore. I started writing this two months ago, and I've had to completely rewrite it since. So anyway, let's go back to that time quickly. Bear with me. There we go. So I had just run an ultramarathon in New Zealand, and because someone asked me earlier, an ultramarathon is anything longer than a marathon. How about we do a Uganda ultramarathon? Anyway, I flew back from the race via Singapore. I had to go through a temperature scanner at the airport, and I washed my hands a lot while I was there and hopped on the plane back to coronavirus-free London. And today I plan to talk to you about my next challenge, running the West Highland Way over the Easter holiday with two of my friends. Of course, as you know, everything changed and that trip's off for the time being. Everything changed for me a few years ago, actually. I woke up one day and I was reading my book in bed when I realized I had one eye closed. I opened the other eye and the text went blurry. I realized I was seeing cross-eyed. I went to the doctor. She asked me how many fingers she was holding up. One, I said. I can see them quite clearly. There's one finger. Anyway, it cleared up over the course of about a week. Then 6 months later, I woke up completely blind in one eye. Unfortunately, I didn't get to wear an eye patch. That would have been really awesome. Again, that cleared up after a few weeks this time. Fast forward a few years, I got a ballot placed for London Marathon. And I woke up one morning on my long run day and I couldn't feel my feet properly. A bit like when you have a dead leg and it's just waking up, but never quite fully awake. And after about a week of that, it cleared up. Then a few days before the marathon, I got double vision again. I ran London Marathon with double vision. It was supposed to be this joyful day running around the city that I love, but I couldn't see any of it or any of the friends who'd come to cheer me on. And then a couple of weeks later, it cleared up again. Then in October of 2017, I couldn't get my eyes to focus on anything. Crossing the road was suddenly really tricky because I couldn't see where the cars were or how fast they were moving. I got lost in King's Cross Station. I mean, it looked like Liverpool Street Station to me. I travel there every day for work. It lasted for weeks this time. Then finally, in November of that year, I was diagnosed with relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis. By the time I was diagnosed, I was kind of expecting it. No more head in the sand. So let's have a brief science bit. Any neurologists here? Please correct me in the chat. So multiple sclerosis means many scars. What was happening when I went cross-eyed or half-blind or couldn't feel my legs properly was that my immune system had gotten confused and attacked the nerves in my brain. This stripped the protective coating on the nerves called myelin. It's a bit like the plastic coating on electrical wires. When it gets stripped, it can disrupt the signals in my brain. When this happens, it can cause the symptoms I was experiencing. This is called a relapse. Then when it heals, it can leave scars that can be seen on an MRI. Like that, that's not my brain, unfortunately. After they're diagnosed, a lot of people keep it quiet, but I talked to people. I found out there were 2 women in my running club with MS, and I talked to them, and I found it really, really assuring. I got online and I met people through Twitter and Instagram and a fantastic social network called Shift MS. That's how me, Alison from Good Gym, and Steph from Shift MS all planned to get together to run the West Highland Way this year. We were raising money for Shift MS. This is us on a practice run last year. But then the rug was pulled from under our feet and the trip was cancelled. But we're going to be okay because we're used to dealing with uncertainty. I'm currently on medication that makes it 50% less likely that I will have a relapse, but I still go to bed every night, never knowing quite how I'll wake up. So I just wanted to share what I've learned from all of this in case it can help any of you. MS is an incurable, unpredictable condition. This has taught me to control the things I can control and worry less about the rest. To have hope. Incredible medical advances are being made all the time. It's taught me to spend my time and attention on positive people, to find the right hashtags online, to stay away from negative people and groups, to write a snarky comment, but delete it before posting it. Talk to people. One thing I found out when I started talking to people was that everyone has something, even the people who seem to have it all together. In fact, especially them. They can be the best people to talk to because they might have the key to overcoming whatever you're going through. And the situation right now, we're all going through. So keep physically distanced, but draw socially close. Clap for the NHS and have hope that things will get better. And West Highland Way, we're still coming for you at Easter next year. Thanks, everyone.
And I've got and shooter it. Here we go. Who criticised women's fiction in the essay "Silly Novels" by lady novelists?
Very quickly, it sounds like something was going on in the background there. Hey, thank you so much for that, Sarah. That was really wonderful, and so many lessons in there for us, and then, you know, just so expertly told. Intriguingly, it's the first time the comments are quite handy. I don't know if we should have this in Sunday Assembly, but normally one person, Julia, who's involved in the Uganda ultramarathon, said, in fact, the Uganda ultramarathon has happened by mistake. One lady missed a turning and ran 2 kilometers over the official marathon distance. So there has been ultramarathon by incompetence there. So thanks so much. And I think that there's that, you know, that message inside there that we can only really control the things that we can control. Is something that you learn and then you have to relearn it, and it's something that in this situation we're in, more pertinent than ever, because so much of the huge sort of waves and shifts which are happening in society, these sort of huge trends that will there be a vaccine, won't there be a vaccine, what should I do, where should I go, that's out of our control. And so we have to just be aware of what is inside our circle of action, and just only sort of be concerned about that, to not borrow worries from the future or sort of concerns from the past. And so thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing that little round of applause there. And now I'm going to ask everyone to join in as we get to the end, to join in a moment of reflection, a moment of calm, a moment just to be together. So shut your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that, or turn off your video, put a sheet over your head, and just join me in a moment of reflection. Thank you very much for that, everyone. One little message there, I was just really enjoying seeing everyone in their different places, and apparently people could hear me clicking through. So anyway, that was just me. Yeah, there's something magical about being able to see each other like this. So many people from Sunday Assemblies, we've known each other so long. And then you go and get that little glimpse into people's homes, and it brings a new level of closeness. So I think I was doing that, not just being a nosy beggar. And so we are now drawing to a close. I really want to thank everyone for coming here and for taking part. There is that we're going to be doing this in 2 weekends' time as well. And there's so much stuff which is happening online. I think we're going to go and share the details in the chat as well. I'm just going to go and type in where you can go, and so www.sundayassembly.com. There we go. And also every day I am organising I'm organising Lifefulness Live, which is a sort of daily gathering, a daily sing-along. There was a different guest every day, but I think I'm just in the process of changing that. So I will send out a message about that if people want to get involved. I'm just going to go and share the link with you. There we go. You can go and check it out. It is in the corner there. I want to say thank you to every single person who's organised this to make it happen. Thank you to Henry. Thank you to Annie for speaking. Thank you to Sarah. Thank you to Stephanie. Thank you for all the organisers there have been. We're going to wrap up with a song soon, but I'm just going to quickly unmute everyone.
Google Easter eggs. You'll Google a certain term.
Guys saying.
That I know, it's that people who come to Sunday are doing so much in their community. Hello, a robot on the line there. What's happening? And so if there is, please do keep on doing that. Please do try to keep helping, find the other helpers. And also, if you need help, then please do get in touch with Sunday Assembly on our group. We're all distant. There's many things that we can't do, but I also know there's a huge community of people who are wanting to help. So thank you so much. I am just going to go and check to see if there's nothing that I have missed out. Oh, hold on, Steph. There is one thing here. How does the donations? How do the donations work? Stephanie, if you can unmute yourself and go and explain.
Okay, well, there's a couple of different ways to donate. I guess I'll spotlight myself. Woo! Hi, everybody. Stephanie here. So there are 2 basic ways to donate. You can go to our website, sundayassembly.com, and click the donate button. And there are options to become either a monthly donor or just do a one-off donation. We also, new for today, have text donations, which I will post in the chat in just a minute. But you would text 5SA Zoom followed by the number of pounds that you want to donate to, I think it's 70085. I will look it up and I will post it in the chat again.
And so just to explain that, why we do this is that Sunday Assembly has we are a charity, and for the time being, we don't have a hall, but that's one big expense for us. We also have an amazing community organizer who is able to make so many different activities happen and able to go and put these things together. And as you'll have noticed, there's no fee here, but organizing and renting things and making things happen, really that's where all the money goes to. And the reason that we're doing it is, I'm sure that you went in your groups, everyone have spoken about community and relationships, and it's exactly to try to make that happen. So please do give generously. These are tricky times for charities because a lot of people go and, if people are on economically harsh times, they'll go and stop a charity direct debit payment. And so if you can give, and also we don't want anyone to give if they can't afford it, then please do, because we want to be able to come out of this in a strong place financially. So that's in the thing. We're now going to go on to our third song. So Steph, over to you, and everyone get ready to go for it. There we go, guys. We're just getting to the end. Thank you all so much for being here. This is our last song. We hope that you have a really fantastic Sunday. Oh, thank you to everyone. We're just going to go out as we do Sunday Assembly.
Yes. Well,
boyfriend or Indian.
I want to know.
Meeting you.
Look at the baby. Yeah, that's the main event. There's a speaker. They have I couldn't get onto it. Really hard. And
to steal the video. Talk loudly to steal the video.
Oh. Yeah, so I guess this thing.